Hey guys, I'm Autumn Cleveland. I'm a pro figure athlete. I'm also a competition and prep and posing coach. And I have over 20 years of experience in this competition industry. I've done over 35 shows and I'm extremely passionate about this sport. I'm constantly looking for challenges and problems in our industry to find what I can bring to the table as solutions based on my own personal experience. And one of those huge problems that even I still have to work with are finances. And as a competitor, it's extremely hard to live our responsible adult life and then put money towards competitions, our passions. And so I wanted to create something that's going to help as many competitors be able to step on stage with as minimal stress as possible because to be honest, it pains me to see people who diet for months on end. We work our asses off. We have everything in order. And then sometimes it is the financial stress that stops us from getting on stage. And I hate that. So I am drawing from everything that I've learned over the years and after doing show after show to kind of break down everything like your non-negotiable expenses, the things that you cannot get around that you need in order to compete. I'm also going to talk about your main savers, things that you really should have to be able to perform well but that you can still make more cost effective in different ways. And I'll also break down like the negotiables and the luxuries. Really anything from this competitor life that I can think of to save you money because cutting corners matters. Every little penny matters. And so even if the non-negotiables are a little bit more expensive, I have found a lot of other ways to pay less for other things and make things more cost effective. So it brings your entire competition total cost down. One of the things that I've recognized is like we might think we have everything planned for and in order, but as we get closer to show date, these little things pop up here and there that you need or that you want. And that's what I mean about like this stuff all sort of starts to build. And so I'm going to go through this entire presentation on my costs and expenses, how to save money where we can, and anything that I can think of just to make this whole competition process more affordable for you so that you can continue your hobbies and your passions. So I do want to be really candid here and honest. I am affiliated with a lot of different brands and I have a lot of affiliate links and codes and I will be referencing them. However, I still want to make this all encompassing and I want to make it not biased as possible. And so I'm going to be talking from my perspective of my own personal experience with brands that I work with, but I'll also be including plenty of other options in case you choose not to go that route. The way I look at it is if I mention these things, hopefully it'll help you because it's something that I actually trust and that I really work with. And it actually helps benefit both of us. And so you can choose not to pay attention to those details, but at the end of this presentation, you're still going to find ways to save money. And I really hope that this helps you out. I actually learned something just a few days ago while I was putting this together. Already found another loophole, and I get excited to talk about those things. So now I'm going to translate over to the presentation and go from there. Okay, so here we go into the presentation, and I talk a lot. I'm going to try to keep this as outlined as much as possible and not trail off too much, but there are some things that I feel like I need to explain a little bit here. So getting into the competition expenses and savings webinar presentation, I want to let you guys know what to expect for competing. And so what you can expect is that it is going to cost money because this is an investment. And whether you choose to compete one time or multiple times, it's no different than if you were planning a one-time, hopefully, event like a wedding, and you really want to invest in your wedding and have a really awesome day and a good memory, or even a graduation. Or this might be something that you do for several years, like me, for example, 20 years plus. Everything that I've put into competing is an investment. So yeah, it can get expensive, but it's worth it if it affects your outcome and gives you a good experience and you can leave with a good memory and a good feeling about what you brought to the stage. Now, there are some things that are required in order to compete, and there's no way around it. But there are also things that are optional and that you can find cheaper workarounds. So that's what I'm going to explain to you here is how to kind of categorize these things. But first, how much did you set aside? It's going to vary from show to show. The minimum that you can expect is about a couple $100 up to 1,000 or a couple thousand. Travel is what impacts us the most. If you compete locally, it's going to be way cheaper. If you travel or you're a professional and you go out of the country, yeah, it's going to cost some money. So flights and hotels and now gas are going to be the biggest determining factors in how much to set aside. Everything else can be pretty predictable. So what I like to do is I set aside like $1,000 to $2,000 per show that I expect to do, and I put it in an account or in an envelope. And then when the show is over, whatever I didn't use for costs, I get to pay myself back like prize money, and that feels way better. So, what are the non-negotiables? These are things that you are absolutely required to have in order to compete, to step on stage. So there's no way around this, and it's pretty set in stone. You have to have an organization membership. Each organization rate is different. The average or what can be expected is about $135 per calendar year. Now, you need to check your website for your organization and see what the stipulations are. A lot of them can be used multiple times in the year, meaning like for 2022, if you get your membership in April, you can use it up through December 2022, but you would need to repurchase in 2023. So again, you need to check the specifics on the website for your organization, but you're going to spend about $135 there. Now, show entry fees differ from regional and state shows versus national shows. So state shows are going to be 100 average per class. And to clarify this, you're only required to register for one class. Anything else that you choose to do is optional. Now, if you do a national show, it could be up like $250 or $275 for one class. So to elaborate on that a little bit, let's say you're going to do an open class and you have to do one, at least one. That class is going to cost you $100. If you tack on novice, true novice, masters, you cross over from bikini to wellness, each of those can cost $100 extra. I know a dude who competes and he does all three men's divisions in every single class that he can. So he does men's physique, classic physique, bodybuilding. He does masters, novice, open. He did true novice. He does military, anything that show has to offer. So he literally drops like $800 to $1,000 on entry fees. I don't personally recommend that. I don't know that I would do it. What you can do, though, is ask the promoter if they are able to do any bundles or discounts, that if you register for one or two classes, are they able to discount additional classes? So that's something that's worth asking, I think. Now, your competition tan, that is non-negotiable. You cannot go to Suntan City and go get a spray tan, and you can't do like a Neutrogena self-application daily mousse or whatever. It has to be designed for competition color depth. Now, this can kind of be categorized into two separate options here. So there are cost-effective options. Your typical professional spray job is going to be $100 to $150, and that's because you are paying the providers as a service. So just like you would go to a mechanic for your car, it costs them time and expertise. So it would be the least stressful if you hire the tan company to apply your tan. But the workaround there is you can do it yourself. So if you trust yourself to apply product to your body, including your back, in multiple coats, you can buy the do-it-yourself kits that these professional tan companies have to offer. That can be like $25 to $50 depending on how many coats you need. The trade-off is that it can be a little more stressful, it can be a little bit more risky, but if you're good at it and you practice in advance, you can definitely pull it off. So that can range from $25 to $150. Now, this is where I'm going to be very candid here. I'm sponsored by Liquid Sunrays. I've only used Liquid Sunrays. I've never used another tan company. I absolutely love them. I think they're the best. I do have a discount code that if you choose to go with Liquid Sunrays, you can use that would save on your competition tan application from them and or your products. So if you order skin prep products or your own do-it-yourself kit, you can use my code to save money there. However, if you choose not to use Liquid Sunrays, there are plenty of other tan companies like Protan, Jantana, Olympia Tan. All of these tan companies offer a do-it-yourself color option. So whoever you do choose for your competition tan, first you might check out what their rates are to book them to do it for you. Then you might check out their DIY kits, and then look around on Instagram and look at some of your favorite athletes and see if they have an affiliate code or a discount code or link that you can use for your preferred tan company. So you don't have to go with mine. I just love mine to death. Now, heels are required for some divisions. So bikini, wellness, and figure, you are going to have to wear high heels on stage. Women's physique, bodybuilding, you don't have to mess with that. You don't have to worry about it. This is another variable cost. So it can cost as low as $35 for a pair of heels. It can cost up to $75. What usually costs more is when you get the full decked out rhinestone shoe, which, to be completely honest with you, a lot of judges don't prefer that because it's kind of distracting from your physique. So yeah, they're cute and they're fashionable, but it may not actually be the best outcome for your performance from being judged. So just kind of weigh that option. Like, do you want to pay more for a shoe that's a little more distracting, or do you want to pay less for a shoe that's super basic? I don't have any rhinestones on mine. I like the most basic mule clear platform heel that I can find. Now, I am also associated with Glam Competition Jewelry. I recently got a pair from them, and it is, in 20 years of competing, this is the best shoe I've ever found. So you don't have to use that. But if you do, I'm going to include my discount code in my savings sheet below that you can download to access that. But you can also go on Amazon and find a really cheap pair there. So don't feel obligated to go with a specific brand of shoe. The only thing that's really important here is that you can walk in it and that you can feel comfortable and confident in your posing. You could probably borrow a pair of shoes from somebody, another fellow competitor, and not have to spend any money. So just know that you have several options there. You are going to need a suit. So every single division is required to wear a suit. However, if you go to the organization website, it might actually say you can wear an off-the-rack suit. That used to mean something several years ago, but now the standard is pretty designer. So meaning you couldn't go to Target and buy a suit and show up on stage and expect it to look the same as everyone else's. So the standard is a little bit higher for competition suits now, but technically you can get your suit from anywhere. The most important things are that that color complements your skin tone and that the cut flatters your physique. That's all that matters. So competition suits can range from, a custom suit could be $200 to $1,500. If you're just starting to compete, I don't know that I would recommend the $1,500 suit. I did not invest in a high-end suit until 15 years in my career. And I wore that suit to death until I outgrew it. I would still wear it today, except it doesn't fit me anymore. Now, you can still find really awesome designer suits for way less. So just because a suit costs more doesn't necessarily mean that the quality is higher. It's just that designer's rate. And what really goes into that, what makes it designer, is the little details of the suit, and primarily the cost of the rhinestones and the time that and craft that it takes to apply those rhinestones. So you can also rent a suit. Some companies just rent the suit out to where you can get a really high quality designer suit that looks nice, and you borrow it for a week or two for your show, and you pay the rental rate, and then you return it. Way cheaper than purchasing. You can get a pre-made suit that is really high quality, and it might not be tailored exactly to fit your body, but it might still look incredible. And so pre-made suits are a little bit cheaper, like maybe $100 to $600. So that's an option too. You can also kindly ask a friend who's the same size as you if you can just please borrow their suit if you promise to clean it and trade for a pizza. But that suit should complement your body. So just because it looks great on your friend, just be careful if you do ask to borrow it and they're like, yeah, sure. It might not look perfect on you. So that's just something to weigh out. Now, this is something a lot of people don't know. You don't have to have the connectors on your suit. I'm talking about those rhinestone straps on the neck, around the tie in the back, on the hip straps. Those aren't required. And in fact, they can kind of be a little bit too much sometimes. So each suit connector piece costs $15 to $25. If you get 1, 2, 3, 4 suit connectors, There's $100 added to your total right there. So I don't put connectors on mine. I might do a tiny little clasp here in the middle, but what I do is I put actual rhinestones on the straps to give it some bling, but it's just the fabric strap. So that saves a ton of money right there, and doesn't lower the quality of your suit. That's just a preference. So you don't have to have suits. You don't have to have a ton of bling. You can go with less You can ask for less rhinestones in your design and save money that way also, because you're saving on the cost of the stones and the time put into it. You can also check out on social media like Facebook. I belong to a lot of suit groups. So there's one called Gently Used Bikini and Figure Suits. There's like buy and sell groups. I use Poshmark a lot. So when I sell my competition suits, those are the groups that I use to sell mine. But I also see a ton of really good deals there. Some of these suits have actually never been worn. So some people buy suits and then they never end up competing, and then they want to sell their suit and they sell it for a way cheaper price and it's brand new. There are some risks there. I know buying a used suit is not for everyone. That's totally cool. For some people it is. So there are questions of, is this suit going to fit you? Is the seller giving the appropriate details, the honest details, or are they just trying to make a sale? Sanitization can be a factor there too. So you might want to just plan to extra sanitize the suit once you receive it. But you can check those groups out or use Poshmark, and I'll link my Poshmark thing below on the savings sheet in case you guys haven't used that app. I actually use it to sell a lot of my workout clothes because I outgrow them often. You can also sell one of your old suits or a suit that you've worn and you've gotten satisfaction out of in these groups, or sell it on Poshmark to purchase a new one and upgrade. I am actually, so I'm sponsored by a suit designer, Body Highlights, and I'll tell you how I do this, but I don't have a discount link or code with her, but a lot of other athletes do. So if you're checking out different brands of designers, you might follow some of their sponsored athletes and see if you can get their discount codes for whatever designer you choose. What I do is I get a blank suit from my suit designer and I have her tailor the color and the cut to fit my body perfectly. And then I enjoy rhinestoning my own suits. So I buy my rhinestones on a different website and then I like to glue them on. So I still only pay for the cost of the rhinestones, but I don't pay someone else for the time or the design. Now, if you're not crafty, probably not for you. It's probably better to just pay someone else to do it and trust that process. But if you like to do these things, like for me, it's almost like a creative outlet. And I just really like wearing my own design. I don't know, I take pride in that. But I'm going to link the site that I order rhinestones from that are pretty cost effective. I've used them for several years. I'll link that in the savings PDF also. But that's an option too. You can order a blank suit or a practice posing suit that fits you well, and then you can add your own bling to it. And it doesn't have to be elaborate. Now, what are the negotiables and where can you save? So we talked about what is necessary, which is your organization membership, your entry fee, your suit, your shoes, and your tan. Non-negotiables. This next category of things is, to me, they're still necessary. So I'm going to put semi-necessary because if you ask an official or you go to the website of your organization or a judge, they won't tell you that it's absolutely required. And I'm going to speak on both sides of this. Now, as a high-level professional athlete and also as a competition prep and posing coach, I am going to tell you where these things come into play and how important they are, because I know from my own experience and the people that I work with. So, posing instruction. You cannot expect to have a good outcome from your competition day in performance if you don't have some sort of posing instruction. That is a majority of how you are displaying your physique in order to be judged. So it's a huge part of your judge ranking you. You can have an incredible physique. Shut up. You can have an incredible physique, but not be able to pose. And now you've kind of screwed yourself. So yes, posing instruction is highly important. It's very encouraged. There are a lot of options though. And so it can get expensive, but it can also be very affordable. So your posing instruction is kind of going to be, these are just things to consider of what you're paying for. So again, you are paying someone as a resource to give you direct answers so that you don't have to exhaust yourself finding all of these things in other places. They are there to tell you exactly what fits you best or what to do or what not to do, which is expertise. So you're paying for this person's knowledge, skill, expertise, and their time. So yes, it's an investment and it's extremely valuable. Some posing coaches only charge like $50 a session. Some charge 100 to 150 a session. Also, the amount of sessions that you need are going to factor into your total cost put towards posing. So your in-person posing sessions are probably going to be the most expensive of all of these options, mainly because of factors like travel to get there. That posing coach may need to pay the gym out a percentage or a fee. And so that's probably going to be the highest that you pay for posing instruction. What's right below that is going to be your online individual sessions. So those are going to be slightly less. Some coaches charge $50, some charge $85. They're different on rate, and more doesn't necessarily mean better. That's just the rate that they choose to, as the coach. So you might shop around your posing coaches also. But one thing you can do, and this mentioned below, you can also ask if they bundle or package some of their services just to make it a little bit more affordable. And some coaches can do that, some cannot. Now, I'm going to highlight and talk about this posing course because I built this exactly for this reason. And I have no shame in talking about it because it's something that I want you guys to know about, because I created it to be cost effective for you all. And I believe in it. It's a really valuable product and I'm very proud of it. So one of the main drivers that I created my posing course was to save competitors money in the long run. So my posing course is $197 for lifetime access right now. As I add stuff to that, that might be changing, and there may be different options for posing courses. But to put this in perspective, the posing course teaches all of the base poses for all of these divisions, which I offer for figure, bikini, and wellness. So it covers all of the base poses that you'll need to know, transitions, walking. There is now a testing section, an application testing section. The course is designed to give you everything that you need to know in order to compete and be fully prepared. So the reason I did that was because as I was getting into posing coaching, I realized that people were spending a lot of money on individual sessions when this was something I could teach them all up front as sort of a standard base. So 2 posing sessions or 3 posing sessions could cost $160 to $200. So the course pays for itself within 2 to 3 individual sessions. And what a lot of my members are doing is they're using the posing course as a base first to get the bulk of it down. Then they put their money toward individual online sessions or in-person sessions with a posing coach to focus on their individual adjustments. So again, this is designed to save money in the long run, to give you a better outcome from posing, so that like when you show up on stage, you know that you nailed your posing base. And I've had this happen and it sucks. There have been shows that I do, and then the judge feedback is, oh, you just didn't nail your poses. And now I have to go do another show to redeem myself with myself and end up spending more money on competing again because I didn't nail my posing the first time. So that's the idea behind the course, is to make sure that you're solid and that you don't have to keep doing show after show because you didn't do your posing right in the first place. So it's cost effective overall, in that it's also preventative from you having to pay out more show costs. So the posing course it's designed to use as you advance long term. So it's an ever growing course, and as I learn more or as I see more demand from my members, I add content to it. So it's a really good investment, especially if you're new at this. That I cover everything, not just the posing, but what to expect for show day, so that you are just 100% prepared. So some of my clients and members use just the course and they never schedule a posing session and they're good to go. Some people use the course as a base and then they schedule individual sessions and use it in conjunctions, which still ends up being cheaper in the long run. So that is an investment that, again, a judge would not say that it's required for you to step on stage, but they will strongly suggest that it's wise that you use a posing coach. So that is an extremely cost-effective option. You can look up on YouTube and social media, although I do not recommend it. And I'll tell you why. It's because that's not always a good example of good posing or as a strong resource. And so you might see posing that you think like, oh, that's really pretty. That person moved really great. But those poses may not work for you or your body. Or the posing might look really elaborate, but it's not what the judges are looking for. So be careful where you choose your sources, because social media, it's hit or miss. Some people are really, really good at posing. Some people are great at breaking it down. And some of it is perfectly great posing. Some of it really isn't. And so you don't want to just follow suit because you saw someone else do it. So just be careful if you choose not to work with a posing coach. Be careful where you're getting your posing ideas from. Free posing clinics. You should go to these no matter what. Whether you're with a posing coach for individual sessions, whether you take my posing course, whether you don't do either of those and you just found YouTube, or you've never even looked at that, you should go to these free posing clinics. These are put on by officials and judges, and it's highly recommended. It's not personalized, so it's not going to, it may not give you the instructional base that you need, but you'll always leave a clinic with more answers than if you've never been to a clinic before. They're very informative. Even as a professional, I still go to these things as often as I can to get information because they're that valuable. And I think I mentioned this earlier, but you might also ask if your posing coach can offer some sort of a bundle or a discount. So some can, some can't. That's individual to that person. I actually bundle my posing services for my competition prep clients. So I'm only using myself as an example. I can't speak for every single coach because not all prep coaches offer posing coaching. In fact, a lot of prep coaches just offer prep and then they suggest their clients go elsewhere for posing coaching, but some do both. So you might ask if you're choosing a prep coach who also offers posing services, make sure to ask and see if that is included in your prep package or if they can bundle it to make it more cost effective for you. Now, getting into that, coaching is something that is highly suggested, but it's not absolutely required. I hire a coach. I have had 3 coaches in my competitive career, but I've also coached myself. It's really hard. And if you're objective and you understand the science behind it and you have a lot of understanding and experience in this field, you might want to test yourself and you don't have to pay a dime. It might cost you some sleep and some stress though. So sometimes paying for a coach is worth it in the accountability aspect or just the peace of mind or just the knowledge. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, a lot of people they absolutely need a coach. They don't have the scientific understanding. They don't understand their bodies. They're not objective. That was my problem. I'm not objective enough and I needed a pair of eyes. So that's why I choose to pay a coach, even though I could do it myself. I would rather get my sleep at night. Now, again, some of these coaches offer both services, which could save you money, but sometimes that's not the case. I can't speak for other prep coaches and what they charge. You can expect to spend a couple $1,000s in the course of a year. Some coaches might do like a shorter term package and may charge way less, but that's not always the case. So it could be a couple $100s, but you can probably expect more like the 1,000 range ish. Now, that also doesn't necessarily include personal trainers. So not all prep coaches are going to personally train you. Some prep coaches write out a program, but then you still need to hire a personal trainer. And this kind of goes into like gym memberships and the things that add up. So even if you hire a prep coach, there still may be things that you need outside of that still hit close to that service, but you're going to have to end up paying the other rates for. Now, this is something that is also a consideration. If you are good at being objective with yourself, you just lack the education, then I would suggest that you look into courses and seminars led by prep coaches and other professionals. So you very much could coach yourself for way less. You don't necessarily need to hire someone else. It all depends on your needs. So if you have an understanding, you're really good at monitoring your body and checking its feedback, you might decide to invest in your own education and coach yourself. And I have been doing a lot of this year. I've been following a lot of other prep coaches who know more than me, other health professionals, and I've been um, paying for their seminars, paying for their courses and their material to invest in my education as a prep coach so that I can better lead myself and my clients. Jason Theobald is someone who I highly suggest. He does a really very affordable webinars, sort of like this. And my new favorite is John Jewett's J3 University course. I actually can't say enough about that course. I've learned so much from that in just 3 months or so, more than I have in the decade post college toward bodybuilding. It's essentially bodybuilding college in a nutshell. It's supposed to be like a 6 month thing, but some people can speed through it in a matter of weeks or months. I can't quote the actual price here, but I am going to include the link in my savings sheet PDF. If you want to go check out the course for yourself to go see the cost of that, that might be a good answer for you. It's worth the investment, whether you have a prep coach or you're going to coach yourself. I think it's worth the money because it's so educational and so useful. But if you're going to coach yourself, that's probably my number one recommendation to get your education down. The question is, can you do it yourself, or do you need the extra help and the guidance? So now we're getting into the luxury options. They're not necessities. They're just things that come up when we're close to showtime and we're like, ooh, I'd like to have that. That would be a nice treat. So jewelry isn't necessarily required. Again, it can be distracting if it's overdone. I've gotten feedback before where judges say like, you could have used a little bit bigger earrings or something silly, or like a bigger bracelet. So you can keep your jewelry minimal. It can be just earrings and one bracelet. It can be way cheap. And I'm talking like you can go to a Walmart or like Claire's or something and get something that costs like $3. Or you can get the nice stuff. And so again, this ranges a lot. You can the maximum that I would recommend is a ring, a bracelet on each arm, and a set of earrings. No headpieces, no slave bracelets, no anklets. But you don't even have to have that much. You can just keep it simple with earrings and one bracelet. The more connectors you have on your suit or more rhinestones, the less jewelry I recommend. So again, you can go to Instagram and follow some of your favorite athletes and see if you can find some sponsored athletes who have affiliate links and discounts. I do have one with Glam Competition Jewelry. I'm going to link that in the savings sheet. But if you choose not to use them, I think the Shoe Fairy has jewelry. They definitely have shoes. I cannot think of there's another brand of competition jewelry that you might want to check out. And I cannot remember it right now, but there are lots of brands. You don't even have to use a brand. You can shop on Amazon again. So you can look at like costume jewelry stores. You can borrow it from a friend and just keep it very simple. Hair cost. You need your hair to look nice. So just getting your hair done simply is going to cost you some money. Cut and color, I mean. Hair on show day, you can do it yourself. If you are good at your own hairstyle, you do not have to pay a dime to anyone else. If you like to have someone do your hair, or if you're not good at your hair, you're probably going to need a professional involved. So there's different considerations here. You might want to ask your hairstylist if they offer event hairstyling as a package with getting your normal cut and color. For services like styling, again, you're going to find a lot of sponsored athletes who work with different brands. My sponsor is Stage Ready Hair. She's amazing. She custom does all of my extensions, and she provides hairstyling services the day of the show. So I do have a code that you can use if you choose to use that. It's going to be on the savings sheet. And if you choose not to, you might want to look at when you go to the website for the show, look for their sponsor hair and makeup team, and they're probably going to have the best rate. You can also pay, if you have someone individual that's not involved with the bodybuilding shows, but you trust them and it's a friend of yours or someone who you actually have experience with, you can totally bring your own makeup artist or your own hairstylist on show day, and they may be able to work something out for you too. So you can also get on YouTube that is something that I recommend YouTube for. You can look up hairstyles that you want to do. Just make sure that you practice. If you're going to do it yourself, practice in advance. Makeup is kind of in the same boat. So if you're really good at your makeup and you already have the products, doesn't need to cost you anything. You can do it yourself on show day as long as you understand stage makeup needs. Now, if you're not good at makeup, you probably want to hire someone to do it so that you don't screw it up. Competition makeup is a different animal. It's not the same as wedding makeup or photo shoots. So again, you want to look at the teams that are provided by the promoters for the show. So you can find sponsored athlete discount codes. I don't have an affiliate or a discount code with a makeup artist. I want to say this carefully. I choose not to use professional makeup artists myself anymore. I have had better experience doing it myself. There are a lot of great makeup artists out there. So you might reach out to them and just see if they, or follow someone on social media, see if you can find their discount code, or if they bundle with hair and makeup teams if you choose a professional. You can do it yourself though. You would just need to invest in your products. And so sometimes, like if a makeup on show day costs $200 or $150, but you choose to do it yourself, you may end up spending like $150 on the makeup itself. But if you're doing multiple shows, that's going to pay for itself. So when I travel a lot and I'm doing like 3 or 4 shows, it makes sense to me to just buy the products and use them multiple times and do it myself rather than pay someone $200 every single show. You can make sure that you sign up for the rewards programs for like Ulta and Sephora and Sally's, and that will save you money. I have also built a stage makeup tutorial, and I want to be clear that I'm not the only person who has this. There are so many athletes that have shared their competition makeup tutorials. I'm sure you can find one on YouTube for free that would give you some pointers. Some people do charge. I charge for mine because I put a lot of time and effort into it. And it's my personal, like how I do mine. But you can find a free tutorial or a cheaper, it's still going to be a cheaper option if it teaches you how to do it yourself. So I do offer my stage makeup tutorial. It's included in my posing course already. It's complimentary, but it's also its own separate product. So if you don't want to do the posing course, but you do want a makeup tutorial, I do offer that as a standalone. That is $50. And it's broken up into modules so you can watch each little piece by piece. But the idea is that it teaches you what to consider for doing your own competition makeup. You can still look on YouTube for other ideas. Just make sure that you understand why we need to do it a certain way. And then you can invest in your products. So if you spend $50 on the makeup tutorial and then $150 on your products, that might be $200. But now you've got that for years of competing. So that might be an investment. You can definitely find drugstore dupes. So while I like certain brands I'm finding for makeup, you can get on Pinterest and look up dupes for those brands and get them way cheaper. Like I love e.l.f. I'm all about some e.l.f. That's a really good baseline, but cheap. That Revolution brand or NYX, all of those are great brands to play with. Whatever you do, if you choose to do your own makeup, you have to practice. So don't just get the stuff and then think you're going to wing it on show day. The investment there is your own time. Now, getting into aesthetic services. So ladies, I know how this goes. You're like, oh, my body looks fantastic. How am I going to take care of my face? So we'll start with the easy stuff like mani-pedis. You do want your nails to look nice on show day. Cost might be $25 to $70 from a salon, but you can also look at Groupon and Living Social. For Groupon Select is a membership that you pay, and you get even more discounts, like 25% off extra. So you might want to look around and shop there for your local mani-pedis if you want to go to a salon. You can also check out beauty school discounts. So when they're training their students, they can do things way cheaper because the student is learning how to do it. So you might want to look at those as options too, like beauty academies. I am obsessed with press-on nails. The brand that I like to use, it's the Kiss, Impress, or the Dashing Diva press-on nails. I don't like acrylics. They're not for me. I don't like my natural nails because they usually break because they're so brittle from dieting. These press-on nails are like $5 to $10, and they work really well for at least the weekend, sometimes like 2 weeks. So you might look into some press-on nails. You can check them out on Amazon or just go to a beauty store. And if you have nice, healthy nails, you can just paint them so that they just need to look groomed. They don't even need to be fancy. They just need to look neat. Facials, kind of in the same boat. So you can spend $5,200 on facials at a salon. So definitely check out the same options that you would for those mani-pedis, and you can just do something nice for yourself. So you might just set aside a day to pamper yourself and get like a sheet mask, do some exfoliation or something, put some cucumbers on your eyeballs. I don't know why people do that. But just if you need to relax, you can probably find a way to relax yourself for way cheaper and do something nice for your skin. Waxing, same concept. Now, I'm hesitant to say this because I'm afraid to tell people to do it because it is one of those DIY products. So if you are an esthetician, you're going to hate me for saying this. I use a sugar wax recipe that I found on Pinterest. And I just bought some muslin strips and I just put the sugar wax on and I wax my arms. I only wax my arms. That's all I need to do. It works pretty well. And it's literally sugar and like lemon juice and I think hot water or something. It's like 3 ingredients. It cost me less than $5 to make an entire jar that lasts me like all year. So you might look at some of those DIY sugar wax recipes. Lashes, obviously the extensions are going to be more expensive, but you still might want to check out Groupon. I use Lashify. This is what I have on right now. They're DIY extensions. So they come in little sections and you get a kit and you can apply them yourself. And what I love about that is I'm a control freak. It's a cheaper option. It does take some practice, but once you get used to it, like for me, it's worth it to put these lashes on like the day I fly out. And then they're on the whole time until I come home and decide to take them off. So they will last anywhere between 3 and 10 days sometimes. So I use Lashify for that. And I am going to put my link down in the savings sheet. If you do want to try that, you can save on your first control kit. But that's not for everybody. Some people, if you have trouble putting false eyelashes on, this might not be for you. You might want to get lash extensions or just stick to the regular false eyelashes, which is absolutely an option. One of my favorite fake eyelashes is like $5. You can also pay a makeup artist to put them on, but still purchase and save money that way. Teeth whitening, you can go to a dentist and it can cost up to $100. You can also buy the gels from the dentist for like $25. I found really good ones on Groupon or whitening strips from like TJ Maxx and Marshalls or just Kroger. Get the Kroger brand. Any of those things will work. And I don't know that I've never been to a dentist to whiten my teeth. The whitening strips I get that are cheap work pretty well. And I drink a lot of coffee. Neurotoxins and fillers and facial treatments. So Groupon and Living social deals can be good, but be careful who you go to. It's your face. I don't go to Groupon for certain things. I would never go for anything around my eyeballs. I'm afraid they're going to like poke my eye out. What you should do probably is reach out to one of your trusted professional providers and ask if they have a beauty membership type deal, like a discount program. So a lot of people have like beauty circles to where you can pay for a membership and then you get extra discounts. I get these for all three because I've used Dysport, Botox, and Jeuveau. So I belong to these Allē, Aspire, and Evolus rewards programs. So I'm going to link those on the savings sheets too because each time you get your neurotoxin, you get points, and then you can redeem those points for a certificate for your next round. So that goes for fillers and neurotoxin. And a lot of people don't know about that. So if that's something you do regularly, like every few months, you can get like a couple $100 off in points and use that toward your future use. Skin prep for competition tan. I hit on this earlier. I love Liquid Sunrays for skin prep products. I use them year round. That's how much I love them. It's mostly important that you exfoliate and moisturize your skin. So you don't absolutely have to have these skin prep products. I would consider them a luxury. They do make a difference in your tan though. The evenness of your tan and how long the tan lasts and the outcome of it is highly dependent on how you prep your skin. So that's why these tan companies make these products at all. You can usually find bundles, discount bundles for them. Again, I'll link my code so you can use it if you choose to, but if you don't want to use Liquid Sunrays, no problem. You can also go to a
You can find a lot of stuff on drugs at drugstores. So you can get a cheap body scrub and a pH balanced body wash, usually in the feminine care section. And you can find a light moisturizer to kind of replicate what these skin prep products do, although the brands do matter, the quality matters. So I still think that the competition tan companies have it down to a science, but you can still probably get away with some drugstore options or get those little like exfoliating gloves. Food and supplements, it doesn't seem very direct, but yeah, everything can add up in prep. So if you like a specific brand for supplementation, I'm not affiliated with any brands where I have a discount code or a link, but you might, again, look on social media for people that you do like or for brands that you like. Sign up for their emails and go to their website and look for discounts that are either like signing up for their app or their text, and then look for sales. And when they have sales, stock up. Like during holiday season, like 4th of July or like Labor Day or Memorial Day, Christmas, of course, like Black Friday. I stock up on brands that I know that I'm going to use throughout the year, and I do that in advance before prep or during prep. Um, Buying in bulk can be a great way to save money. If you get like a Sam's Club or Costco or Kroger Plus card, you'll save a lot of discounts that way too. Um, Health and blood work labs. So if you are requiring prescription, this doesn't work for every prescription, but GoodRx is a good app that you can download, and it can offer discount codes regardless of your insurance. Your insurance still might be better, but if you don't have insurance or it's not very good, GoodRx can actually save you a good chunk of money on your prescriptions. Um, Now, blood work labs. These things can get pricey. If your insurance covers it, go through your insurance, go through your primary doctor. But if it doesn't cover it, you might want to go to an outside source, and there's a lot of different lab companies. And so I work with Optimize You in Louisville, Kentucky. We have something set up for anybody all over the country who chooses to go through Optimize You. If you call in to the Louisville Optimize You location, which I'm going to put their information in my saving sheet, any state, they can call in the autumn panel, which covers, it's a full hormone panel, um, including your thyroid, cortisol, um, CAMP, blood markers, and your typical hormones that you would want to monitor and prep. All of that, we have it set up for the autumn panel for 175, but you can call from any state and request that lab to be drawn, and then go to an Optimize You in your location and get your actual blood labs drawn. So that's something that I offer for my competition clients and my local friends, but anybody can use that. Travel costs. This is where it gets like a fun game. So, and I've got this I learned something this week and I'm so hyped to talk about it. So, hotel costs. You might want to compare the group rate of the host hotel to other discount options, sometimes even at the same hotel. Like if you have a AAA card, you might get a different rate, a better rate than the group option listed from the show promoter. Or if you have a lot of points saved and you can use points toward these hotels, that would be a good move to make. But you might want to compare, because like if a hotel is 2 blocks away but like $100 cheaper, walk the extra 2 blocks. I don't know, but I would save a couple $100 if it's within a 5-minute drive. I usually stay at the cheaper hotel. So it's not always the case that the host hotel is the cheapest. It's just a nice option for that the promoters offer to us. But you still might be better off looking at like an Airbnb. Call up your friends, see if you can stay at their place if you know somebody in the area. Becoming a rewards program member for points and perks for all different hotels that you can. So I've got like the Hilton, World of Hyatt, Marriott Bonvoy, um, Holiday Inns. I've got every single hotel branch or branding that exists that has a reward program. I've signed up for all of those because I stay so many places that I start to accumulate all of these points. I'll get back to that in a second. So the flight costs. Sign up for your airline rewards program. So I'm I have no reason to associate with Southwest except that I know what to expect, and I've always had a good experience with them. I've never had a bad experience with Southwest. So that's who I use. But I have become one of their members to get to kind of like accumulate points. But I also got their credit card, and I got it through my Chase bank. So I bank with Chase. I use the Southwest credit card to open that up so that when I book my flights, I'm getting points toward future flights just by using the credit card. So you're going to spend the money on travel anyway. You might as well get some sort of reward for it. Now, there's a lot of cross accumulation here. So I'm going to link that on the savings sheet too, that if you sign up for these credit cards, you might be able to get double rewards and points. Compare airlines as far as bag costs. So one of the reasons I like to fly with Southwest is that the first 2 bags fly free. Some airlines don't offer that. They might offer 1 bag or no bags fly free. So be sure to check with what you're paying for as far as the bag cost itself. Driving, it might be cheaper to drive yourself somewhere rather than to fly, depending on where you're at and the cost of flights and the cost of gas, which is ridiculous. You might consider rental cars and bundles with your flights. So if you're going to a location where it's kind of far away from the airport, your hotel is off site from the venue, you plan to go to the gym a couple of times while you're there, it may be cheaper for you to rent a car for a few days than it would be to Uber back and forth. So definitely check that out. Now, this is what I discovered, and it blew my mind. I use Uber and Lyft. And if you haven't used these before, I'm putting this on my savings sheet also, where for the first time, if you've never used them, you can get like credit toward free rides. And if you have used them before, go in the app and check this, because I've used them for years, both Uber and Lyft, and I had no idea. So in the Lyft app, I connected my Hilton Honors points. So going back to the hotel points, I saw a little drop down that said something about partnerships with Lyft and Hilton. And I know I have a bunch of points through the Hilton app for my hotel stays. So when I linked the two, I was able to convert my hotel points to Lyft credit. And I had like 60,000 points from the hotels that I wasn't going to use because I wasn't going to be able to reach that next tier. But I was able to transfer that to Lyft, and I got like $125 in credit to use for Lyft rides just from connecting the two apps. So that's one thing about like cross connecting these things, like Chase with Southwest or Lyft with the Hilton hotels. I think Uber partnered with somebody too. So go through these apps and scour them for partnerships to see if they combine the rewards faster, like DoorDash and Uber Eats. Those are ones that can add up too. So my mind was blown by that because I had no idea. You can also book your packages and bundle your hotel and flight and rental cars. You can do that through Lyft. It might be cheaper, but I do it through Southwest because that's where I book my flights and I want the credit card points. So that's how I double up there. Definitely sign up for Kroger rewards if you haven't already, or the Kroger surveys. When you check out and they give you your receipt, sometimes they have a survey at the bottom and it'll save you like 50 fuel points, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I've been shaving off like almost $1 per gallon the last few times I've gotten gas just from filling out the surveys and being a Kroger Plus member, and using the digital coupons that they have to offer, like the 4 times points savings. So download the Kroger app and then fill out the surveys and make sure that you're registered with their rewards program. And you can save a lot of money on just your everyday gas. Traveling with your food is always going to be cheaper than buying from a restaurant. It can be inconvenient. So you do have to meal prep. You have to carry your food around. Definitely try to avoid buying food at gas stations or airports because that is going to get really expensive really fast. One of my favorite tricks is to take an empty water bottle. I actually found these Amazon flexible inflatable water containers with like a little carabiner. Take it empty into the airport and then you can fill it up at the water stations. But if you go buy a water at an airport, it's going to be like $5. So try to pack your own food and snacks to take with you on the flight within their your airline's rules. That's going to be way cheaper than anything else. Where I lost my spot. Oh, booking your flights further out can be cheaper. So I keep an eye on what flights I'm looking for, like several months in advance. And the further out that I book them, they tend to be a little more affordable. The closer to the date, you're probably going to pay a higher amount. I've heard this rumor, and I don't know if it's true, but some people told me it's cheaper if you look for flights on Tuesdays. I'm not sure if that's absolutely true. One app that I use sometimes is called Kayak, and that will search for the cheapest flight and hotel options for you. So it's Kayak. You might check that out. The travel daily rate differences can change if you're flexible. So sometimes you'll go to book a hotel and you'll notice the weekends are more expensive than the weekdays. If you can shift your travel a day forward and stay a weekday that's cheaper, that can obviously shave off money. Same thing with flights. If you can be flexible with your flight days or times, you might find a cheaper flight in or out if you can shift that travel day forward or back. Photo shoots, they're not required. You can find really good rates. Some are very expensive and worth it, but an average photographer is going to be like $200 to $1,000 depending on your package. You can always ask for trade for time and portfolio work. So not all photographers will take you up on this, but some people want experience or they want to build their portfolio. So they won't charge you anything, but they kind of control how many edits you get or how many shots you take or how long you shoot. And they use you to model for their portfolio, and you both have the pictures to use. So that's sometimes that's worth asking, or if they want to do some sort of a social media partnership. Foods and goods, again, cheapest to prepare yourself using your coupons, both paper and digital. Meal prep services can be cheaper than buying food. Still might be a little more expensive than you cooking it yourself, but it's a time saver. I use Zilla Meals, and I use them when I travel. I use them when I travel to Phoenix, Arizona. I live in Louisville, Kentucky. They shipped that absolutely perfectly, and I've had really good experiences with them getting the food there on time. It stays fresh. It's really good, and it's affordable. I've worked out a discount code for them for you to use specifically for this webinar. So just for being here and listening to this, if you choose a meal prep service, they ship to anywhere in the country. There's 2 different codes you can use. That's also going to be on the savings sheet. So if you're considering a meal prep service, I highly recommend them, and we have worked out something special for you. So yeah, using DoorDash and Uber Eats, not cheap. Sometimes still cheaper than a restaurant though, to have it delivered. Other things and stuff. I am addicted to TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Ross type stores, and Walmart. Amazon is like my go-to for everything. So you can find a lot of the things that you need for competition super cheap at these sites. If you know how to shop for them there, a lot of the makeup that I use for stage, I find at Marshalls or TJ Maxx for like $5. So that's kind of a year-round scavenge. You might need to kind of keep your eyes peeled at all times, but it can add up in the long run for your products, or clothes or jewelry or whatever. So how to save. Just consider your digital apps and accounts. You can set aside your own personal savings account within your bank that you use. I use Capital. It's an app that you can kind of you link it to your own account, and you can create goals. So I literally put in there like competition expenses, and I set it to where I put in $5 a week all year, and then I also do a roundup option, and it takes the change of, like, if I buy a coffee for $1.80, it takes the 20 cents to the next dollar and puts it right into that account. So what happens is, like, months out from the show, money is already going into that account, so I have a little bit of a buffer. I can access it at any time though. So if I do have an emergency, I can pull it back out, but it's sort of like an unseen savings account that you have a lot more control of. So I'm going to link my Capital sign up link in the savings sheet if you guys want to try that out. I use it for everything, actually. I use it to pay my bills, and I use it for, like, when me and my boyfriend want to go on a travel, I start a fund there. So I use it not just for competition stuff, but it's a good tool to help you manage your money. Keeping cash in an envelope. If you have cash that you're putting towards competition and you want to separate it so that you don't spend it, Put it out of sight, out of mind, but keep it safe in an envelope somewhere. You can use your credit cards to make purchases and get lots of perks and points. So if you're going to spend the money anyway, you might as well get the rewards. And so as long as you find a good interest rate, check out these different rewards, and you can use your points to get cash back. So I'll save my points and then use and get it for like an Amazon credit card or gift card, and then I'll use that to purchase my competition needs. I also do that with my Verizon bill. So when you get points for just paying your bill on Verizon, sometimes it adds up to like $20 in the gift cards that you can use toward the grocery store or Amazon or Walmart, and you can pay for your stuff that way too, just by spending the money that you normally would. So make sure that you're checking all of those apps and services out. Using PayPal credit. So if you apply for PayPal credit, and so like I pay my coach through PayPal, that's how he prefers his payments. I use PayPal credit to avoid interest. So instead of just paying it right there, if I need to pay for something else competition related, I put all of this on my PayPal credit, and if you spend over $100 on PayPal credit, there's no interest for 6 months. So that might help you manage your competition expenses if PayPal credit is an option to avoid that interest. So you can use that for your coaching fees or for the posing course, or you can even use it for like your I think you can use it for your membership, like your organization memberships. You can use it to book your tan. So you can put all these competition expenses on PayPal credit and not have to pay any interest for 6 months if it's over $100. You just need to be responsible. That's the kicker. Sign up for emails from brands that you use for coupons and for special sales. So any brands that you follow, make sure that you're signed up for all of their discount stuff. The Verizon thing I mentioned for the gift cards, linking your apps, going back through and finding those little loopholes where the apps have partnered and you get like double or triple the points and rewards. You can also look into travel agents, or if you have a friend that just really loves coordinating trips and stuff, you might ask them to help you find the best options. But yeah, Kayak is one that I mentioned. Southwest to bundle all of your hotels and flights. And this isn't a savings, and it doesn't apply to everybody, unfortunately, but it's worth bringing up. You might be able to write some of this stuff off depending on your job. So if you're self-employed and you are a prep coach, or you provide some sort of a service and this is marketing your brand and your business, or if it's promoting and some of those costs are going toward what you would spend if you're a walking billboard for your own business, you need to ask your accountant and see if there are areas that it's okay for you to write that off because it's promotional. So it's a very fine line, delicate. Definitely ask your accountant. Again, it doesn't apply to everybody and it may not work out, but it's worth a shot asking. So it does depend on if you're self-employed and what your actual job task is. Try to stay with integrity on that one, but that can help sort of offset some of these things by the end of the year. So I'm going to bring up my savings sheet and I'm just going to show you guys. Be sure to download this. I've got everything linked, everything that I mentioned in the entire webinar, all of my discount codes, all my affiliate links. Again, these are just things that I personally use that have helped me. And if you choose to use this, you're saving money and it's going to benefit me also. I'm being very candid about this. You do not have to use a single one of these things. So consider your other options. It doesn't hurt my feelings if you don't, but if you do choose to use it, just know that these are things that I personally use myself and that I've tried myself, or relationships that I've built or products that I've built in order to help other competitors save money. Because like I said, every penny matters. Everything that we can shave off matters to go toward the things that we can't avoid paying for. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this up here.
Okay, so that's everything that I can think for tips and advice that I have from my personal experience on how you can save on your competition life. The whole point of this, that I put this together, was because I want to save you stress and save you money so that you can have a way easier prep and that you can have a better outcome on show day and not be financially drained and stressed over this stuff. And so the main takeaway is, yeah, some of these things are required and they're non-negotiable and they are expensive, but if we can shave off and cut corners and save costs by making wise investments, that is going to add up and it's going to offset. So be sure that you're investing in the things that are necessary, like your competition tan, your posing. Again, I'm going to hit on the posing course because that's exactly why I made it, to be cost effective. So I'm actually going to send a follow-up email, and it's going to have a direct link to the posing course, which also includes the makeup tutorial. So that alone is a bundle for some of you all. I'm also going to send out my downloadable PDF, and that's going to have all of my discount codes, affiliate links, everything that I've worked out for you guys to help save you all money. And then it's also going to have direct links to reach me in my services if you're interested. And if not, if you choose not to do those things or take advantage of them, no hard feelings. I just hope that at the end of this presentation that it helped you think of ideas of how you can save money, and in the long run that it was beneficial for you.